Hello everyone, I am Bharat Kumar. Today I am here to discuss the geography section of CSE Pre 2021. Today we will analyze the trend and the pattern of geography questions which has been asked in the examination, and we will see their detailed explanation. So, first of all, best of luck for your coming exam in mains, and congratulations to those who are going to qualify. Now, you might be thinking, sir, what is the trend? So, you have seen the paper and what UPSC is known for, that is concepts. Means we think that the questions or topics which UPSC is going to ask from us is the conceptual things, means they will ask in depth. But what happened this year? They have totally changed the scenario. Last year the questions was from the conceptual one. This year maximum questions are factual, means they are related to facts. That's why we used to say that predicting UPSC is a very difficult task. And this year again UPSC has proved it that you can't predict the questions and the pattern of UPSC. Now, if we talk today's trend, that from which part UPSC has more focused, so what we are seeing that the ecology part and the vegetative section, or you can say the forest part, UPSC is focusing over that. Conceptual things also has been asked, but the thing is that it is very less, and concepts which UPSC is asking is very tricky in nature. Now the question comes in our mind, why tricky? Question is very simple, the concept is very simple, but the way of asking the question is little bit, you can say, related to concept. Means if you are not knowing the concept completely along with the fact, then you will answer the question wrong. Simply if I say, you are knowing the answer, you are knowing the concept, but a silly mistake can change the answer, and instead of giving you the number, it can take your number in the form of negative marking. So this year trend, concept less and facts are more. Now we are going to see the questions one by one of geography. First question, how is permaculture farming different from conventional chemical farming? The permaculture farming means the permanent agriculture. Permaculture farming discourages monoculture practices, but in conventional chemical farming, monoculture practices are predominant. What is the question? Mind it. Different from conventional. Okay? So, permaculture and conventional, you have to differentiate, and they have already differentiated it. You have to see the which sentence or which point is different from the other. Then after, conventional chemical farming can cause increase in soil salinity, but the occurrence of such phenomena is not observed in permaculture farming. Conventional chemical farming is easily possible in semi-arid regions, but permaculture farming is not so easily possible in such regions. And the fourth point, practice of mulching is very important in permaculture farming, but not necessarily so in conventional chemical farming. These are the 4 points. And what we have to do is that difference between conventional and permaculture. So if we understand each point, then the first point is totally wrong. Why? Because monoculture means practicing a single crop at one time, and it is not necessary that only the conventional farming is going to do the monoculture and the permaculture is not going to do monoculture or the single farming. It can also do. Means monoculture can be done by both the farmings, that is monoculture also, permaculture also, and conventional farming also. Means first point is wrong. Second, the chemical farming is going to increase the salinity. Obvious, as because when we will use the chemicals and the chemical fertilizers, so the fertility will increase, but with the passage of time, the salinity will also increase, as because with chemical fertilizers, the soil needs excess amount of irrigational facilities also. But the permaculture is totally based on the traditional type of farming, means use of biomanure and the ecological friendly farming. That's why the chemical conventional farming is increasing the salinity, but permaculture is not increasing. Means the second option is right, or you can say the second point. The third one, conventional chemical farming is easily possible in semi-arid regions, but permaculture farming is not. Yes, it is true. Why? Because in conventional chemical farming, we are using the chemical fertilizers to increase the fertility of soil. But in permaculture, we use the traditional method. So, in traditional method, we can't increase the fertility of semi-arid conditions or the soil present in semi-arid conditions. So, point number 3 is also right. Now, moving on to point number 4. Practice of mulching is very important in permaculture farming, but not necessarily so in conventional chemical farming. Means that mulching means maintaining the soil balance, moisture and its fertility. So the answer will be only 2 and 3. This one. Because you have to maintain the soil moisture and fertility in chemical farming also. Is it clear? Now moving on to the next question. With reference to palm oil, consider the following statements. The first one, the palm oil tree is native to Southeast Asia. First thing. Second one, the palm oil is a raw material for some industries producing lipstick and perfumes. Palm oil can be used to produce biodiesels. Now, the question is, which of these statements given above are correct regarding to palm oil? So, only 2 and 3 are correct. Why? Because palm oil is native to Africa, not to Southeast Asia. It has been brought from Africa to Southeast Asia, and right now the Southeast Asian countries, or you can say Indonesia, is the largest producer of palm oil. But palm oil is native to African continent. So the answer will be only 2 and 3. Means palm oil is used for industrial production like lipstick, perfumes, or you can say oil for pizza, donuts. Means maximum use of palm oil is done. Now moving on to the next question. With reference to Indus River system, which of the following 4 rivers, 3 of them pour into one of them, which join the Indus direct? Simply what I told you in the starting only, that more emphasis is on factual questions. Here examiner is asking you a very simple question, that which tributary of Indus join it directly, and rest tributaries are going to join that tributary. Simple. But he has just elaborated the concept, or you can say the sentence. What? With reference to Indus River system, which of the following 4 rivers, 3 of them pour into one of them? Simply, Chenab, Jhelum, Ravi and Satluj. Now, if we take a look, Jhelum is going to merge with Chenab automatically, Ravi again and Satluj also. Means Chenab is the tributary which directly merge in Indus near Panchnad. After merging with Satluj only, the single stream which is formed is known as Panchnad, which make the Punjab, our also and the Pakistan section also. So answer will be Chenab, which is also the largest tributary of Indus. Now moving on to the next question. With reference to India, Didwana, Kuchaman, Sargol and Khatu are the names of. You might be thinking these are the name of lakes, so they must be Ramsar sites, but they are saline lakes of Rajasthan. So these are salt water lakes. Moving on to the next question. Consider the following rivers: Brahmini, Nagavali, Suvarnrekha and Vamsadhara. Now, if we say which of the following rivers is originating from Eastern Ghats, so practically Brahmi is not originating from anywhere, but practically it becomes Brahmi after the confluence of 2 rivers in Odisha, that is Sankh and South Koel. And Brahmi is a seasonal river. Suvarnrekha originates from Ranchi, Chota Nagpur Plateau and drains in Bay of Bengal. Now, the option has been left with 2 and 4. That is option number B is correct, which is Nagavalli and Vamdhara. These 2 rivers are there, which originates in the Eastern Ghats in Odisha section and enter in Andhra Pradesh and finally falls in Bay of Bengal. So these 2 rivers are originating from Eastern Ghats. Now moving on to the next question. Consider the following statements. The Global Ocean Commission grants license for seabed exploration and mining in international waters. India has received license for seabed mineral exploration in international waters. Rare earth minerals are present on sea floor in international water. Which of the statement given above are correct? First thing is that the Global Ocean Commission was set up in 2013 and the main objective was to conserve the ocean, not to grant the permission for mineral exploration. Means the main motive of this commission was to see the degradation of ocean and promote the awareness and policies to restore the ocean to their natural form. Means point number 1 is wrong. Now we has been left with 2 and 3. So the answer will be B, that is 2 and 3. Moving on to the next question. Among the following, which one is the least water efficient crop? Means you can say which one of the following crop are grown in semi-arid regions? Sugarcane, sunflower, pearl millet and red gram. What will be the answer? Answer will be red gram, which needs very less water, or it can be cultivated or sown in semi-arid regions, and rest need more water. Now moving on to the next question. Consider the following statements. In the tropical zone, the western section of the oceans are warmer than the eastern section owing to the influence of trade winds, means due to influence of trade winds. In the temperate zone, westerlies make the eastern section of ocean warmer than the western section. Which of these statements given above is or are correct? Now this is the pure conceptual question. By the time you are not aware with the general circulation of atmosphere, trade winds, westerlies, their location, and the most important thing, the another part, the ocean currents and their location, you are not going to answer this question. Now, if we focus on the first point, what is it? The tropical zone, simply between 30 degree north to 30 degree south. Western section of the ocean. Western section of the ocean means the eastern part of the continents. Simply, eastern part of the continents and western part of the oceans are warmer than the eastern part. Simple. Eastern part of the continents and western part of the ocean. On the eastern part of continents lies the warm ocean currents like Gulf Stream, Brazilian current, Agula current, or the Oyasio, or you can say, the Kuroshio or the Japan current. All are warm current and lying on the eastern margin of continents and western margin of the oceans. And they are in the influence of trade winds. Means the first point is correct. Second one, in temperate zones means beyond 30 degree latitude and below 60 degree latitude. Westerlies make the eastern section of the ocean warmer than the western section. Now here, the western part of the continent and the eastern part of the ocean in temperate zone. Now here, if you remember, then on the western part is the North Atlantic drift on the western part of Europe and eastern part of Atlantic Ocean, and western part of Canada and eastern part of Pacific, the North Pacific current. Both are warm current present in temperate zones, and means that part of ocean is warmer than the western part, because the western part is having the cold currents, like the western part of Atlantic in temperate zone and eastern part of Canada, Labrador current, eastern part of Asia and western part of Pacific, that is Oyasio current, or you can say Bering current, and western part of South America, Peru current, western part of South Africa, Benguela current. All are cold currents. So here what we are seeing, that the western part in the temperate zones are cold currents, eastern part are warm currents due to influence of westerlies. Means sentence number 2 is also correct. So the answer will be both 1 and 2. simply if you are not remembering the ocean currents. Now here also we can say that this is also factual, because the location of ocean currents is going to give you the answer and the oceans. Then after, leaf litter decomposes faster than any other biome, means the leaves which are just coming down from the trees over the surface are decaying very fast, and as a result the soil surface is often almost bare due to alkalinity. Apart from trees, the vegetation is largely composed of plants, forms that reach up into canopy vigorously by climbing the trees or growing as epiphytes rooted on the upper branches of tree. Simply if we see, here the examiner is giving you the criteria, or you can say the characteristic of those forests where the large tree and climbers are found and the lower level vegetation is absent. So, if we take the option coniferous forest, the forest is not dense, climbers are not there. Dry deciduous, automatically dry deciduous means sparsely separated, or you can say all the trees and the forest is open. Mangrove means the swampy area. Now we has been left with the rainforest. And if you remember the characteristic of rainforest, the decay of leaves and the dead matter is very fast, and the lower level vegetation is absent, and only the tree and climbers are present. So the answer will be D, tropical rainforest. Moving on to the next question. The vegetation of savanna, again the factual one. By the time you are not remembering the characteristic of savanna grassland, you will not answer this. The vegetation of savanna consists of grassland with scattered small trees, but extensive area have no trees. Simple. Little bit trees and more grassland. That's why the place are termed as grasslands, means the ecosystem is having the supremacy of grasses. The forest development in such area is generally kept in check by one or more or a combination of some conditions. Which of the following? Means which condition has taken into consideration for the forest development? First one, what it is telling? That burrowing animals and termites, means the animals who make holes, they can't be there. Fire, it can be, because the temperature is more and the amount of bushes and grasses are large. So we have to see this. Grazing herbivores, as because it is grassland, the section, or you can say the number of herbivores will be more. Seasonal rainfall. Savanna grassland is characterized by a season with rainfall and rest of the season is dry. And the soil properties, due to less availability of precipitation or rainfall, the soil quality is very poor. Means this one will also not be considered. So answer will be 2, 3 and 4, and let's say the option, it will be option number C, 2, 3 and 4. Now moving on to the next question. With reference to the water on the planet Earth, consider the following statements. Again factual. The amount of water in the river and lake is more than amount of groundwater. Means the examiner is telling you that the river and lakes are having more water than ground. It is not possible, because due to rainfall and the lakes and river, the water of lakes and river are also percolating down, means the groundwater table or the amount of groundwater is more than rivers and lakes. Amount of water in polar ice cap and glacier is more than the amount of groundwater. Yes, it is right. Because if we divide the water on earth, then approximately 96% of the water on earth is ocean, which is saline. Then after, the maximum is glacier and polar ice, covering approximately 1.5 to 1.6%. And then after, the underground water table, which is covering approximately 1.2 to 1.3%. So we can say that maximum amount of fresh water is present on in the form of polar ice and glacier, and then after underground water table, and rest are distributed on the surface. Means only 2 is correct. Now moving on to the next question. Consider the following statements. Moringa means drumstick is a leguminous evergreen tree. Drumstick tree is native to South Asia, and South Asia is surplus in deciduous forest, not in evergreen forest. Means this sentence is wrong. Next, tamarind tree is endemic to South Asia. Actually, tamarind tree is not native to South Asia, but it is native to Africa. Means option number 2 is also wrong. In India, most of the tamarind is collected as minor forest produce. Yes, it is true. The gatherers, food gatherers, or you can say the tribal communities used to gather the tamarind. India exports tamarind and seeds of moringa. Seeds of moringa and tamarind can be used in the production of biofuel. 3, 4 and 5. These 3 sentences are true, because the seeds of tamarind and moringa are also used in the carpentering works. So, answer will be B, 3, 4 and 5. Now moving on to the next question. The black cotton soil, simply the Deccan Plateau, or you can say the peninsular India. India has been formed due to weathering of, simply the black cotton soil of India has been formed due to weathering of. Brown forest soil, no. Granite and schist, it is a metamorphic. Shale and limestone, it is a sedimentary rock. So the question or the option remains fissure volcanic rocks. Simply you can say the igneous rock, means due to fissure eruption or quite type of eruption, the igneous rock which are formed are responsible for the formation of lava plain and lava plateaus. So the black soil, or which is also known as regur soil, is formed by the fissure volcanic rocks. And in this way, these are the questions, approximately 13 questions, which has been asked in geography this year, into which 2 questions are related to somehow conventions and current affairs, and rest are maximum factual in nature. Means if you are knowing the property of soil, property of forest, property of grassland, means the remembering section. If you remember the things, you can answer these. Means this year totally UPSC has changed the perception and scenario of asking the question which was conceptual in nature. And last year, which UPSC has asked, the totally concepts from the climatology and geomorphology section, or you can say the physical geography. But this year, more focused is on environment. Why? You know, because we humans are facing from last 1.5 years the nature effect, or you can say that in these last 2 years we have understood that what is the importance of being natural or be in harmony with nature. So living in harmony with nature is the best thing for humans. So you can think or you can say that this year UPSC has more focused on nature. Like ecology and environment has also got many questions, approximately 14 to 15 questions this year from ecology and environment. So see you in the coming episodes, coming lectures with the geography section. Till then, thank you.
Like the video, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon for latest video updates.